Yes, how is everybody doing? We are live. Welcome back to United View. We are back for another Euro 2024 match view. We've got a game a day thus far, haven't we? We haven't missed a single one. We haven't missed matches. We haven't missed a single day without a game. And today it's no different. We've got Austria versus France. Of course, one of the favourites, really, for the entire tournament, isn't it, France? And we're going to see Ralf Rangnick's Austria, which a lot of people are actually very interested in seeing today. They've had a very good qualifying campaign. Of course, Ralf at one point looked like maybe he was going to be leaving Austria, going to manage Bayern Munich. He decided to stick the course, stay with Austria. He's happy with the work he's doing there. He's excited about the work that he's doing there. And tonight we're going to see, really, what work he's been doing with Austria. Of course, as I mentioned, qualified very well. There is a bit of a Manchester United influence on this game with not only Ralf Rangnick, the former interim manager of Manchester United, but also a former loan player for Austria is playing. A former loan player for Manchester United is playing. We can talk about the team news, actually. For Austria, they play a 4-2-3-1. At least it looks like that. They've got Pence in goal, a back four of Porsche, Danzo, Wobber, and Moen. In front of them, they've got Seawald, Grilic. They've got Konrad Leiber, Marcel Sabitzer. Yes, Marcel Sabitzer, former Manchester United loanee. In Erik ten Hag's first season, spent 6 months at Old Trafford, plays. We've got Baumgartner and Gregoritsch. And my pronunciation, as always, I'm sure is absolutely spot on when it comes to all of those players. For France, again, probably the favourites of the tournament, you would probably say. You know what I've been saying recently, I don't think England are tournament favourites. I would think, former world champions, really since Euro 2016, it feels like every tournament that's come since then, they have been the favourites, really, hasn't it? Euro 2016 in France, they really should have won that tournament. They kind of bottled the final against Portugal. Of course, they won the World Cup in 2018 in Russia. And then I think most people, again, were expecting them to go very far in the last European Championships. Didn't happen. And the same when it comes to the last World Cup. Of course, World Cup finalists lost to Argentina. And I suppose that's probably the big talking point about France, isn't it? Is that for all of the hype surrounding them, they've only managed to win one tournament in this period of time. As mentioned, gets to the final of Euro 2016. Wins the World Cup, goes out actually a lot earlier than people thought in Euro 2020. Gets to the final of the other World Cup. Doesn't win that one, so it's going to be interesting to see again. Probably you would expect them to go far, but can they get over the line this evening? We shall see. As far as their team, they've got Magic Mike in goal. If you know from the Flagy era of FIFA. They've got Teo Hernandez, Upamecano, Saliba, Koundé as the back four. In front of them, Rabiot and N'Golo Kante, still putting on the blue shirts, still playing for his country. Thuram, Griezmann and Dembele in front of them. And captaining the side, Real Madrid's latest signing, Kylian Mbappe. Rounds out the French team. Obviously, everyone's talking about Mbappe at the moment. Everyone's talking about Mbappe. Everyone's talking about his move to Real Madrid. He is a superstar. He really is. When you consider how long he's been around already, he's only 25. Speaks, actually, when you see him in interviews, his English, by the way, is perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect. So whenever you see him do an English-speaking interview, he comes across very well. They were just talking on ITV there about his ego and what have you, primarily because of obviously what happened and everything at PSG. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know the finer details because I don't follow PSG week to week. When I would see the same stories that you would, I would kind of go, that's really wild. But one thing you can say is him at Real Madrid next season is going to be frightening. When you think about that Real Madrid team, when you think about Mbappe, you think about Jude Bellingham, you think about Camavinga, you think about Tchouaméni, you think about Endrick, you think about Vinny Jr., and the list goes on and on of all the players that they've got. And they're already, by the way, winning the Champions League this season. They're already the best team in Europe, arguably the best team in the world. Oh, and they're adding to that. They're making that team much, much better. So yeah, and also when it comes to Mbappe, well, I think one thing's for certain is that in these tournaments, from what I've seen, he does tend to deliver. I mean, you look at that World Cup in Qatar, and really, maybe obviously I know France didn't win, but I remember that final against Argentina, and for a large portion of the game, France were really poor, really, really poor. I know there was that wasn't there that story about like a virus or food poisoning or something like that going through the camp that day? Unless I'm mixing these things up and making that together. But he really dragged them. I mean, properly dragged them. Put that team on his back and took them as far as he could go. And it still wasn't to be, of course. They were one Kolo Muani chance away from winning the World Cup, and again it was a big save from Emi Martinez that managed to prevent that from happening. So they have to be considered the favourites, I think. We really seen our first scalp today, I would say, in Belgium losing. But it's funny actually, and let me know what you think about this in the chat about Belgium. Of course, Belgium lost to Slovakia 1-0 today. Romelu Lukaku really doing Romelu Lukaku things, which is miss a hatful of chances. Had 2 goals disallowed, which of course is quite unfortunate, particularly that handball one, but missed a lot of chances. And that was, I guess, considered to be the big first sort of scalp of the tournament, the big first surprise result of the tournament. But then I was also sort of taking a step back and think, well, is it that much of a surprise? Because that tends to be what Belgium do in these bigger tournaments, with the last remnants of the golden generation. But it's the same Belgium side that England really struggled against not too long ago at Wembley. But we have had our first scalp, and I tell you what's interesting about this, and I might be proved massively wrong, in literally 20 minutes time, it might already be 3-0 to France, and I'll be like, oh, actually, about that scalp, about that upset. But considering how Austria qualified, considering their coach, maybe this does have the possibility for a bit of a shock. Maybe this does have a possibility for a bit of a scalp here this evening. If France lose, you wouldn't say they're going to be in trouble or anything like that. You would still expect them to win their remaining 2 games in the group. But I don't know. Anything is certainly possible as the teams are just in the tunnel. See what you guys are saying in the chat. Be sure to get involved. Be sure to click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Plenty of content going up today, by the way. We have the transfer view, which loads of people tuned into in the morning, which is fantastic. A reminder, all the Manchester United news, the topics, the transfer discussion ain't going anywhere. So 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, Flex and myself are going to be live once again. There's quite a lot of transfer stuff to get into, actually, regarding centre-backs, Jared Branthwaite, what have you. So we'll be live again. We also had the Laurie Whitwell interview, went up earlier today. Flex chatting to the Athletics' Laurie Whitwell. Really interesting insight into the review process to keep Erik ten Hag, transfer targets, transfer budgets. So if you haven't already, be sure to check that out. And then these Euros, match view streams and what have you, they're just a little bit of garnish. A little bit of, let's just have a little bit on top. That's an extra dish you can have. So, big up to everyone that's been tuning in. I'll see what you're saying in the chat. Red Baron says, I like Sabitzer, pure respect. Should have kept him, in my opinion. The Sabitzer one's interesting. I can see him on the screen right there, actually. He's in the tunnel looking very focused. I think that I feel like for me, and maybe I'm wrong here, but the Sabitzer stuff is kind of hindsight. Obviously, in hindsight, with the season that we just had and with the struggles that we had in midfield, we should have kept Marcel Sabitzer. I think, was it the release clause or the option to buy? I think it was like 20 million. It wasn't that much money. But you have to then take yourself back to that period of time, which there wasn't a ton of people saying, let's keep him. The general prevailing theory was a bit like Sofian Amrabat, really. I think Sabitzer probably contributed more. But the sort of prevailing theory was that, well, we could spend that 20 million. But it would take away from our summer transfer budget. We're going to spend in the summer. We can do better. Let's go and get better. And we didn't. And we bought Mason Mount, and then he didn't play all summer because he was injured. But he did do well. I remember, obviously, against Sevilla in the Europa League, scored twice. I remember in the FA Cup against Fulham, he scored. So he wasn't bad at all when he was here. He was I would say above average. Had some injury troubles towards the end, which I don't think helped his cause. But I think it's important to remember the context. With it of, at the time, the prevailing theory was, well, we'll save that money and we'll spend it more wisely. And we didn't spend it more wisely. So now it's a case of, well, if we'd have known what we know now, yes, we should have kept him. Yes, of course. But I think it's important to remember those kind of contexts. The same thing with Reguilon in this season. I mean, not to keep him permanently, but we should have kept him all season. But that's because we then found out once he had left that we weren't going to have any left backs all season. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones. National anthems are playing as the French national anthem plays. Loaded squad. Strong team, strong squad. I mean, who have they got on the bench? They've got the likes of Pavard, Mendy, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Olivier Giroud, Koulibaly, Emery, Fofana, Coman, Konate. Very strong squad. Very strong team. Didier Deschamps, still the manager, still the head coach of Les Bleus. I wonder for how long. I mean, it feels like Zinedine Zidane's been waiting in the wings to take over the French job forever. It felt like that was maybe going to happen after the World Cup. It didn't, maybe because they got to the final. Maybe this will be the last one for him, perhaps. As we now wait for the national anthem of Austria. Of course, they've got a major absence. David Alaba injured. Misses the tournament. He did his, was it MCL or ACL? Got a knee injury. So that's a big miss for them. On the bench, they've still got the likes of Marko Arnautovic. But I'm really curious to see how Ralf Rangnick does fare. International level, major tournament. Obviously, he's got great pedigree and history as a coach, despite not working out at Manchester United. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when he's got a group of players that do listen to him. And of course, was Bayern Munich's second choice to become the new head coach there. Turned it down, which, as I said, I think was the right call. I really do. I think that after missing out on Xabi Alonso, I feel like whoever's got that Bayern job, of course it's company, I feel like they're kind of a bit of a dead man walking. I feel like they're a dead man walking in the sense of once a good name becomes available, Bayern will go after him. I think Ralph might have sniffed that one out. But yes, very interesting. As we're about 3 minutes away from kickoff here. What stadium is this at? This is at the Merkerspiel Arena, which is, where is that based? That is in Dusseldorf. I feel like my German pronunciation is getting better every day. Matty Lad says, nah, Owen, he was decent for us. He absolutely was. I never said he wasn't. My only point with Sabitzer was that, should we have kept him? Yes, in hindsight, but we can't also forget the discussion about him at the time, which was, well, we'll save the money and we'll spend it elsewhere. It's very similar to the argument about Amrabat this summer, which is, well, there's not really, he hasn't had, it's difficult to judge him. He hasn't been here for a long time. 20 odd million. We don't have a huge budget, but maybe we should put that into the midfielder, or we could spread it out across the budget a bit more, I suppose, and bring him in. Sabitzer, the captain, though, for his country. I'm always a fan of the French kit. They've got the away kit on this evening. I think it's white with pinstripes. So they've also got their second goalkeeper as well. Their goalkeeper Schlager, they just said tore his meniscus in April. So it's not been ideal for Austria, to say the least. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm off the mark here. But I feel like maybe, just maybe, could we get an upset? Is it possible? Anything is. If you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Yeah, I do like that kit. Sabitzer had injuries though, maybe prevented seeing his best regular. Again, that was another, like I said, that was the other thing that went against him too. was that towards the end, he was ruled out with injury, wasn't it? So it was kind of out of sight, out of mind. As we wait for the countdown. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're off. There we go. I suppose actually it must be said we've had a couple of surprises, couple of shocks on this Monday. We had Romania just completely destroy Ukraine, 3-0. Very impressive by Romania. And then I suppose the big one, which was the Belgium defeat. I mean, if you're watching in the UK, you have to listen to Sam Matterface and Lee Dixon. Apologies. Red Baron with the super chat says, think Erik ten Hag ran his nice guy act with the media. But I think he just spoke as Erik ten Hag speaks. When he does interviews with the Dutch press, he's much more direct. As is the case with a lot of this stuff, whenever you get comments that are in one language and translated into English, there's a lot of mistranslation too, and a lot of the things are taken out of order. But when you watch the actual interview with the accurate subtitles, you realise it's actually not as severe as maybe first thought. And certainly when it comes to the English press, he's not running a nice guy act with them anymore, nor should he. The English press are vultures. Here's Sabitzer. Oh, loses it. Kunde. Here's Kante. Puts it out towards Antoine Griezmann, perhaps. Keeps it in. I'll get my team news up. Ball to Rabiot. Mbappe. I mean, I'm not going to affect a French accent throughout this. Kylian Mbappe. N'Golo Kanté. The Manticutioner in the chat says props for the new graphics and layout. Looks great. That is one Just Josh Media graphics guru visual ninja. That's what he does. Free kick to France. Griezmann stands over. To think that, it's another one, Antoine Griezmann could have been a Manchester United player. People forget that back in, what was it, 2018, 2017, around that period of time. It looked like that one was going to happen. Just take this free kick, flicked on, and Atletico Madrid had that transfer ban at the time, and I think he made the decision that I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to go anywhere whilst they're under a transfer ban. And stuck around at Atletico. I think that was during Jose era, Man United. Red Baron said, so you did while saying you were not going to do it. Oh, the French accent. Not for the whole game. Goodness me. That would be the worst. Here's Saliba. And Upper Meccano. To Kunde. Look at that. 1-2s by France up the byline. But Griezmann manages to lose it. Goes all the way back to the Austria goalkeeper. Little flick on there by Sabitzer. They're just a very, very impressive team, aren't they? Very impressive team, France. In terms of for position. I mean, yeah. Put it this way. Look at that French team. Near enough. If Manchester United were linked to any of that player, you'd be like, I'll take him. I'll take him. You know, maybe some of you'd have more reservations than others, but very impressive team, very impressive squad. But it's not always the team with the best names or the team with the most amazing names of the squad that wins the tournament. Just look at France. Oh, that's a bit of a mistake by Kante. It was nearly gobbled up by Gregorich. Here they come again. Theo Hernandez, who's been absolutely wiped out there. That's going to be a free kick to France. Basically same position as they had just a few minutes ago. It was Kevin Danso from Austria. Look at Theo Hernandez. He's rapid. And it's almost just how quickly he's going. He just gets completely blocked off by Danso. Another free kick. I don't think Griezmann's going to have a shot, but he might put it into the box. They've got height. Of course, they've got Upamecano. They've got Saliba. Looks like that's who they're going to be aiming for. They've got Koundé as well, sneaking around the back. Or will he have a shot? No, puts the ball in the box. Headed away by Danso again. And Austria managed to get it out. But, I mean, Lima tries. That's a good tackle. I like that. Who was that? Number 16. Verne. Excellent. Sometimes you need that. When you're just backs against the wall constantly, you just got to put a tackle in. Show a bit of aggression. Make it a bit difficult for them. Be a bit nasty. You've got to find some way to kind of, shorten that gap. Conte once again. Of course, N'Golo Kante playing in Saudi. Theo Hernandez. And Mbappe tries to go past the defender. Goes out for a throw. And there is Ralf Rangnick. Been doing What's Sam Matterface talking about, by the way? Sam Matterface goes, not the most popular man in Manchester after his interim spell. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about in that case. The fan sentiment towards Ralf Rangnick, I think, from the majority of Manchester United fans, not from all of them, because there's not 100% sentiment on anything. But I think the majority of the sentiment towards Ralf Rangnick is one of actually quite positive, because his legacy was, I'm going to talk shit about the Glazers and the club. And at that period of time, it was the right thing to do because the club was horribly managed. And now a lot of those people that were horribly managing the club aren't there. So Glazers are still there. But the sort of legacy and the things that he was referring to, the mismanagement of Ed Woodward, Richard Arnold, John Murtough, and players, he was absolutely right to call out. Yeah, the football wasn't great. The results weren't great. But we were already having a terrible season. And the legacy that you have to remember with Ralf Rangnick is that was meant to be a very short period of time in his Man United career. The more impactful, the more impactful thing he was meant to be doing was his consulting role after the fact, which he never got to do. So yeah, that's a bit of a weird comment by Sam Matterface, but not shocked. Because the media talking about Manchester United, oh, that's a foul. Let's play on. I tell you what, they're in behind here. It's Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe shoots. Oh, side netting. And I tell you what, the keeper makes a save, I think. But Dembele in the box looks to be a bit frustrated. By the way, they get this to Mbappe. He's onside, I think. Yeah, well, yeah, he is onside. He is rapid. Look at the speed. Now, again, I think if you look towards Dembele, maybe he wanted that to be cut back across goal. But it was a proper foul. Short corner by France. Griezmann, ball in. Keeper claims it very well. And Danzo's down. Let's have a look at the groups here. Because I mean, you know what? It's funny actually. When you get to like the sort of first games, they can be a bit tedious, can't they? They can be a bit tedious. They can be somewhat laborious in the sense of there's a lot of caution from the teams, and what have you. So once you get to sort of the second round of matches, and they have to be a bit more progressive. Or you get the drama of the third run of games when they have to really go for it too. That's fantastic. And Danso A bit of a rare bit of a possession for Austria here. Sabitzer's chasing that. Sabitzer's actually really advanced for Austria. Of course, at United, we more assumed of him playing in a sort of more traditional 8 role. Whereas for Austria, he's a 10, very high up the pitch. Almost at points look like a second striker. Austria win the ball back. They're certainly physical. That's going to be a foul by Kante. I think that's what they need to be, Austria here. They need to be quite physical, quite touch tight. As much as I was getting my goat last night about the fouls that Serbia were putting in, I don't think it's a terrible game plan. As I said earlier on, sometimes when you lack quality in comparison to the opponent, you've got to start making it nasty. You've got to be aggressive. You've got to maybe put some fouls in just to send a bit of a message. That's what you've got to do. You can't roll over. Because if you roll over and you give respect against these kind of players, these kind of teams, they will take the piss and just embarrass you. So there is no need. There is no need for any kind of respect. Bit of a possession now for Austria. As they're playing it out the back. Here's Danzo again. Sabitzer, or just lose the ball. Surrounded by white shirts, manages to win it back. Here's Imvern. Good little play that from Austria. They carry on. Put it out to Imvern again. Imverne, excuse me. In swinging cross towards the back post. Can he attack it? Did that go out? Referee says no. And Mignon collects. Magic Mike. Again, if you know, you know. But 12 minutes gone, still 0-0. I mean, Austria, they're in fantastic form. Just one loss in their last 16 matches. Does the referee give a foul? It's very harsh. Very, very harsh, that. Posh. Not happy with that one. Game continues quickly. Thuram puts it back to Theo Hernandez. Oh, a cross goal. There was just nobody there. I mean, he absolutely fizzes it across goal. He's just waiting for someone to put that in the back of the net. Theo Hernandez already looks so dangerous, isn't he? Rapid, quick. And there's nothing wrong with that ball either. It's right across goal. If there's a striker's instincts, a proper number 9 there, that taps right in. That's 1-0. I mentioned the one loss in their last 16 games, Austria. That includes victories over the likes of Serbia, Turkey, Germany. That one loss was against Belgium, who, of course, did lose earlier today. They've beaten the likes of Sweden, Italy. So, yeah, it's not bad. The last meeting they had with France was in the Nations League. France won 2-0. That was back in September of 2022. But if I do call correctly, I think at one point France did beat them under Ralf Rangnick, unless I'm mistaken. Oh, it was a draw. Excuse me, it was a draw. It was 1-1. So they have played France fairly recently. Baumgartner turns. Did it come off his hand? Nothing yet. Grilic tried to spread the play to the left. Didn't really work out. Here comes France on the counter-attack, and it was just a bit of a heavy pass. And Vobber's going to be able to sweep up. And actually, Austria have got a bit more space and a bit more time on the ball than I had kind of anticipated here. Sometimes, again, you just have to... Sometimes you just have to kind of get through and weather the early storm, don't you? Danso tries to switch the play towards and Werner. Didn't work out. I don't think they would have given that for a handball on Baumgartner had something happened. We're into the 15th minute. It's 0-0. Good header by Danzo. Nothing wrong with it. Oh, you bastard. I don't think that was a foul at all. Referee blows the whistle. I think that's very, very harsh. Let's have another look. Oh, it is a foul. Goes right through the back of him. I take the bastard back, referee. Chris says, have we already spoken about the Belgium handball? I think probably most people thought it was really harsh. I hate that rule. I don't really see the massive advantage that he was getting, like he did it on purpose. I know that they've changed the rule a little bit, but still, I thought it was very harsh. It gets back into that territory once again of why are we looking for reasons to rule out goals? You know, proper nitpicking stuff. Dembele, I tell you what. Well, he's got a book in there, Verba, and I don't know why he's dived in. Dembele's rapid feet, he's going past players, but he doesn't need to. I mean, to be honest, he kind of 2-footed. It's 2 feet off the ground. It's a bit much there by Verba. But there's a free kick here. Griezmann, number 7 for France, stands over it. Griezmann. Keeper holds that one. Chris says, I thought it was harsh, but if his hand doesn't touch the ball doesn't fall for him to run onto. Therefore, an attacker gains an advantage. I kind of get that, but it's one of those ones where it's like, but you always is the rule then basically it doesn't matter the intention? Because I don't think the intention, if it's in a natural position when you're moving like that, there's always going to be the possibility that you hit the ball, but it's not his intention to gain an advantage by taking it down with his hand, isn't it? And this is what kind of annoys me with the handball laws over the last, 5 or 6 years. Ball in, and it's cleared by Upamecano. It feels like over the last sort of 5 or 6 years, I have no idea what the laws are with the handball decisions anymore. They have changed so much over the last several years, and it feels like they've changed it they continue to change it because they tweak it and they make changes and amendments, and then they see the new law in action, and they realise that it doesn't work or it's wrong, so they have to change it again. And it gets to the point where there's just complete confusion. You remember when, and this was really sort of during the pandemic time, where it got to the point where if it hit your hand in the box, it was a penalty, enough said. And then eventually they had to change it and change the threshold because they were like, well, maybe that's a bit too harsh. And then you get into the territory of the shirt line. Then you get into the territory of natural position. I mean, I remember back in the day where it was handball or ball to hand. So it's already evolved like 3 or 4 times that I can recall. There was the period of time, they've won it back here. Rabiot put it out to Antoine Griezmann. France are on the counter-attack here. Dembele's on the outside, goes alone. Bit of greediness there by Antoine Griezmann. Should have given it to Dembele. He says sorry to Dembele, and I think he's right to. But yeah, with the handball one, it's just they continue to change it because every time they make amendments to the law, they realise that they've made a mistake. I remember Marcus Rashford a couple of times had goals for United ruled out for handball. And some of them he could do nothing about. I remember the one in particular. It was against Everton at Goodison Park, where he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he takes the shot at the goalkeeper, and it comes back up, and it just hits him in his hands here, and it goes in, and they're like, well, it hit his hand before it went in, he gained an advantage. But he could do nothing about it. Literally, it hit his hand. And, yeah, it's just, they keep tweaking it and tweaking it and tweaking it. And, of course, the problem with VAR, that we'll probably see something similar in the tournament, that won't be given for handball. Ball over the top. It's not a bad ball, actually. Here's Kylian Mbappe. Manages to guide the tackle, but does get dispossessed in the end. it's got a good pace to this game because France are playing pretty direct, actually, which is allowing some space. Gregoric tried to play it through, intercepted by Saliba, excuse me. So yeah, with the wrap up that handball one, I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was harsh. But as I said, we'll probably see another decision that looks exactly the same as that, and it's the other way around. As is football. The one thing I didn't really get was the one thing I didn't get with it was do you see the, what's it called? Is it Snicko? I think it was. Where, like it is in cricket, where they play it back and they see if there was any contact between the ball and the bat, in this case the ball in the hands, and they kept playing that back over and over again to sort of show off their new toy. And it was a bit like, well, it's not really up for debate of whether it hit his hand. It very clearly hit his hand. I mean, I suppose that will look better when it's much, much, much finer. But again, at that point, are we going to really rule out a goal because it like brushes a finger like that? Oh, the ball was coming and it went like this. Well, you've got to rule it out, gain a massive advantage there. It's like, it just felt like that's the new toy that we're just going to have to sort of play around with. I mean, I think that might be useful in the sense of like making tackles. You know, did he touch the ball? Didn't he touch the ball? Well, let's go to Snicko meter and then you see, yeah, he did touch the ball. Fair enough. But once again, for handball, for something that's so subjective, I'm just like, But I suppose that's football. Is every couple of years. I mean, they tinker with the rules so many times. Remember just 2 years ago at the World Cup, when for the first week of the World Cup, they were adding on 15 minutes of stoppage time. Right, new rule. We're adding more time on. Okay. And then like a week into it, they went, no, we can't do that. Really, that's just ridiculous. And then they stopped it, and they don't do it anymore. So, and I feel like sometimes, I don't know if it's necessarily for the betterment of the game. I feel like sometimes it's just changing rules for changing rules' sake, because we've got to be perceived as if we're doing something. We've got to be perceived as if we're trying to improve the game. So let's just make a change and let's see if it sticks. Remember the beginning of this Premier League season? Well, you can't have two coaches in the dugout box at the same time. One has to be at the front, one has to be at the back. And if there's two in, you're going to get booked. Or how about you fix something actually really serious, as opposed to whether or not there's two coaches standing in the dugout at the same time? I mean, talk about ridiculous. It's Sabitzer on the corner. Set piece for Austria. Can they make it count? Premier League fixtures come out tomorrow morning too. That'll be quite interesting. Sabitzer, ball in. Mion. Oh, that's a great collection by Magic Mike. He's the top goalkeeper, by the way. Very good keeper. Red Devils 99 says, remember the booking rule if you did not take a throw in within 2 seconds? I remember, I'm old enough to remember Wayne Rooney and Paul Scholes serving suspensions in the Premier League because they got cards in a pre-season match. Yeah? Let's not pretend, let's not act like, oh yeah, Man United were always favoured. It's got a good pace, good ebb and flow. This I mentioned there's quite a lot of gaps. France are quite direct, which again I like. Just something different as opposed to just let's just pass it sideways for ages. Have a bit of variety. That's what you want to see in like a tournament of international football. Different styles. Oh, skips past him. That's beautiful. He's into the box here. Baumgartner goes down, and it's cleared. They got something about them. They got something about them. Austria. I'll make sure I've got my sounds ready actually too, just in case I need them. That's a throw-in to Austria. To be honest, it's a bit more even than I kind of anticipated it would be. But again, I don't know if that's just because, France aren't going to be like, let's just dominate possession. Austria throw-in. 25 minutes gone. Still 0-0. It looks like this might be a bit of a long throw-in, actually. Yeah, maybe a bit of a long throw. Not sure who they'd be aiming for. Maybe Gregorich. There you go. It is a long throw. This ball's bouncing around. Saliba. Oof. Yeah, he went for a... Inverter went for a volley and he just caught Kante. Clear foul. Lee Dixon saying there's been lots of soft free kicks in this tournament thus far. Have there? I don't know if it's got anything to do with the tournament. It's just, that's football at the moment, isn't it? And that one's not soft. He kicked Kante. So someone just volleyed N'Golo Kante's ankle, and Lee Dixon's give it a lot of soft free kicks here. Sorry? What? I know you've got to feel dead air, but my goodness me. Austria win the ball back. It's a bit of a chance, maybe. Grilic. The ball's just kind of ricocheting around the box. Saliba steps in. Oh, again, it kind of pinballs around, but eventually it's fallen to Koundé, who's now going to travel towards Ousmane Dembele. Oh, it was good feet. But actually gets dispossessed quite well there by Werner. Gets the ball too. Good tackle. Here come Austria again. I think they've held themselves very well. You can certainly, look, we mentioned about their record. 1 defeat in 16. And you can see why. They're a well-run team. They've got decent players. They're aggressive. You know what it is though, and this may be, I'm not a French football expert by any stretch of the imagination, but they kind of alluded to it on commentary earlier on, and I do think it's right. I do think there is a contingent of French fans that look at this group of players that France have, and it's almost a bit like the Gareth Southgate principle, where they go like, you should just be winning every tournament. Why, how come, it's Euro 2016. Final loss. Yes, you won the World Cup 2018, but Euro 2020 went out in quarters to Switzerland. World Cup final lost. I think there is a bit of a feeling of, well, maybe we do need to have a different manager, a different coach, because we should be winning all of these tournaments, and we're not. And I think Zidane's been lined up for that France job forever. Basically, bless him. He's been waiting for the best part of what? Is it like 4 years? 4 years? Red Baron says, at least France wins stuff, Owen. We English can't say anything. Well, obviously, look, France got a much richer history on an international stage of winning things than we have, winning the World Cup multiple times and what have you. But I do think with it comes an expectation, and with the players that you've got comes an expectation. And when you really think about it, over the last 8 years, that you go, well, they've only actually won one competition. You'd go, really? And you go, yeah. Kante. Theo Hernandez, who's been quite impressive in this first half. 30 minutes, still 0-0. Show says, I mean, 3 finals in 4 tournaments is pretty good going. It's not, obviously it is, but again, you would probably look at it and go, I guess, Ken, it's the same energy as sort of the Southgate stuff, really, isn't it? That final they played against Portugal should have won. Home country too should have won. That Portugal side was not all that, and they really bottled it. They should have won that. Comfortably won World Cup final. Euro 2020 again. I was surprised he stuck around after the last Euros, really. That was the one I was surprised about. I thought he'd be gone after that. Made it to the finals of the last World Cup. And really, again, it was interesting because you look at France in that tournament. I remember when we played against them, you forget, like, well, Harry Kane missed a penalty in the last 10 minutes. And in that final, it was really Kylian Mbappe put them on his back. And they could have won it, and they didn't. And I suppose are you content with just getting to the finals with the players that you got? When does it become a problem that you don't get over the line maybe as much as you should? And I suppose it is difficult decisions because, like with almost like with the Southgate thing, they go, well, look, as you mentioned, 3 finals, with back-to-back World Cup finals, European Championship final too. It's not bad going. That's pretty good. And then, of course, the counter-argument is, but those finals we should have probably be winning. But we didn't. Here's Kante. To Upper Meccano. And it goes long, goes straight out for a throw-in. I mean, international football, of course, it is a bit of a crapshoot in the sense of, like I mentioned several times, it's not obviously the best team that wins it. But you would think if you get to the final, you should get over the line. Austria win the ball back here. Baumgartner puts the ball in. Lima, deflection. And Magic Mike keeps it in. Does really well. And obviously, if you don't win your opening match, it is not the end of the world. Because as we just saw in the last World Cup, Argentina didn't win their opening match and they ended up going all the way and winning it. And that was an upset against Saudi Arabia. So it's very early stages, early days. Danzo heads it. Mbappe blocked. And actually, let me double check this. I suppose I should cross in by Theo Hernandez. Headed away. Koundé. Dembele. Oof. It's gone down. Are they going a free kick? He's got to be... I mean, that's 2 bookings Ousmane Dembele has got for Austrian players already. He is electric. I mean, there's something to be said about his end product, certainly. And I think you saw that playing for PSG this season. But he's absolutely rapid. Oof. He's got great feet. Can just fly past defenders. Again, you maybe end product and injuries with him. And this is the same player that Barcelona bought for all that money from Dortmund all those years ago. Didn't really work out. Griezmann, ball in. Oof, blocked. Here is Dembele. Cuts back. Dispossessor this time. Conrad Lima. I tell you what, the counter-attack's on. Baumgartner. Sabitzer's forward. Posh. Towards Lima. Flicked on. Not really the right area. Magic Mike sweeps up. So what is... I mean, this is a bit difficult to figure out, it really, isn't it? So this is Group D. Of course, England are Group C. So there is the possibility... isn't it? Oh, so in my head. There is a possibility we can play teams from this group, I think, isn't there? I think. If we were to win Group C, which you would hope we would, you could face third from D, E, or F. So we could face third from this group, which could end up being Austria. Or it could be from E or F. It's a lot of permutations, to be fair. I can't be bothered. It's got to focus on one match at a time. Gregorich. Go! Sabitzer! He's in! He's in! Baumgartner! Oh! He's missed. That must be an unbelievable save. It's got to be a save by Magic Mike. It's an unbelievable chance. Let's take a look at this. Out wide, ball in. And Sabitzer. That's a brilliant touch by Sabitzer. It's a great save. That's an absolutely outrageous save by Magic Mike. Great touch by Sabitzer. And Magic Mike comes out. He tries to lift it. And Mignon just gets his foot. That's a chance and it's a top save. Really good goalkeeping. He's right there. He's right there next to him. They give a goal kick for that. They give a goal kick. Or was it offside? That is maybe one of the worst decisions I've ever seen in my life. Very clearly, the goalkeeper makes a top save, and you've given a goal kick. What? What? What a terrible decision. Very clearly, it's a top save by Mignon, and he's given a goal kick. Oh my word. Premier League officiated. That's really bad. That's a very, obvious decision. This is top-level international football. My God. See, and stuff like that, obviously people won't pick up on in 20 minutes' time. But if you're UEFA and you're marking this official, you must surely be like, that was shit, a decision. That was awful. I mean, that's like Sunday League stuff. Oh, definitely chances in this game for Austria. Rabiot is Dembele again. He's so quick. And I tell you what, those fullbacks are terrified of him. Mbappe off the right-hand side this time. Oh, drifts past him like he's not even there. It's in! Own goal. 1-0 France. And it's an own goal from Werber. And I tell you what, it's really unlucky for Austria. Really unlucky because I think they'll be looking at that other end and go, maybe it could have been a bit different if they had the corner. Can't really dwell on it. But Mbappe drifts out. Mbappe drifts out to the right-hand side. Just quick feet, puts it into a dangerous area. Comes off Werber and just nestles in the far corner. Look at this. Little bit of skill. Goes past the defender like he's not there. And Werber just kind of puts a head in there. Look at this. Dinks it across goal. To be fair, his technique's all wrong. He sort of leans his head in. But it's just a little bit of gets it all wrong. But it's just a little bit of skill, a little bit of injection of pace by Kylian Mbappe. And just after a major chance for Austria, France go up the other end and get a goal. Again, not because of a French player scoring, but because of putting the ball in the back of your own net. But you would say with Mbappe, gets past him too easy. Maybe that's a bit of fear of being on that booking, perhaps. And again, that's why, not to kind of dwell on that corner, but that's why you say to referees, like, stuff you do, that really does matter. Because they've taken a goal kick, they've gone up the other end, and they've scored. Sabitzer wins the ball back. Here's an opportunity for Austria. Sabitzer carries on. The Austria players down. Looks like it's Grilic. Oof. Right on the top of his foot. They didn't give that a foul either. This referee's been terrible. He really has. It was a late tackle on top of his foot. Bear in mind, if that was the other way around, he would have booked him. They've booted it all the way back to Austria now. They were in a good position too. Here's Danzo. But there is something in this game for Austria. That's what they can say, I think. There is something in this game for them. Chances will be there. I mean, they've got a really good goalkeeper to go up against in Magic Mike. Kunde shepherds it out. Goal kick. Of course, Magic Mike was a player that United were linked to last summer. I think it was determined, though, that he was going to be too expensive. Hoofed up the pitch. Mbappe couldn't hold that one. And now Austria have the ball again. What are the stats in this first half? Let's have a look. So France have had 55% or Bosch in behind. And now that is a corner. France have had 55% possession. Austria 45. France 5 shots, 1 on target. Austria just 1 shot, but it has been on target. That's why I suppose that the shots thing isn't a total indicator, is it? Because look at this. I think France have obviously edged it, but it's been a fairly even game. Ball in. Danso went for a header. Got his header wrong actually. Lima goes out for a throw-in. But it's been a very good first half. I've enjoyed this game. I've enjoyed, like I said, just the difference in style. That's what I want to see from an international tournament. I want to see a variety of styles. I don't want to see every team, you know, like you see in the Premier League now. Every team basically plays the same way, or they try to play the same way. You want to see something a bit different. You want to see a bit of variety. You want possession teams, great. But you want to see teams that are maybe a bit more direct. You want to see counter-attacking teams. You want to see teams that, play with different formations. Kunde clears that one. Actually nearly put it into a good area. Heads it back in the path of Dembele. And here's Mbappe once again off the right-hand side. But he's giving it away there. Sabitzer. Baumgartner. Conte sweeps up. Griezmann puts it all the way out to the left-hand side. And Thuram gets a touch. I haven't seen much of him in the first half, really. Griezmann. Good interception by Conrad Lema. Rabiot. Bless me. As we have about, what's that, a minute and a half left of this first half. Show says Maignan would probably cost around 70 to 80 million, in my opinion. I think he'd be a very expensive goalkeeper. Very impressive. Kante. Actually, looking at this group. Oh, I got rid of my groups tab. There you go. Looking at this group. It's actually a really good one, isn't it? Because, of course, you got the Netherlands in it. To be fair, all 4 teams in this group, I think, have actually done quite well in the games I've watched thus far. Obviously, the Netherlands won, and I wasn't blown away by the Netherlands, it must be said, but they were okay at points. France are France, so you know they're going to do well. I was actually pleasantly surprised by Poland. I thought they did okay. and I thought their manager was quite proactive. And then, of course, Austria, they've done pretty well against France here too. You would still think top 3 would probably be France, Netherlands, Austria. But I wouldn't be shocked, actually, if it's like France top, Austria second, Netherlands third in this group. And again, it's first game. It's difficult to kind of take it away from that. But Koundé, Chavez with the ball. And I would say with Austria, just don't concede. Griezmann, ball over the top. That's superb. Mbappe, goalkeeper, you've made a mess of it. You've hesitated. Oh, you lucky boy. Very lucky. He made a mess of it. It was a ball over the top, then the keeper hesitated, and he nearly completely screwed it up, and Mbappe just has a bit of a poor touch, so the keeper can sweep it up. And again, the last thing you need is a goal right before half-time on both sides. Danso. Lima. Austria still have the ball here. Is there going to be one final chance for half-time? Or right towards the end of the time. Stoppage time. Ball in. Headed away by Koundé. Referee will probably blow his whistle here. And he does. That's half-time. It's France 1. Or excuse me, Austria 0. France 1. But a very enjoyable half that. I very much enjoyed that. Good game. Good tempo. Good teams. Austria actually, I think, have kind of lived up to the hype a little bit. There was obviously a lot of talk about them coming into the tournament. Everyone knows about France, how good they are, their qualities, their players. But there was this talk about Austria and how well they'd done in qualifying. 1 loss in 16 games. Ralf Rangnick's done quite a job of them. And to be fair, you can kind of see it in that first half. You can see their aggression and how tidy they play, creating a couple of chances. And actually, just thinking about it as the tournament goes on, it's going to be interesting to see when they face the really interesting one for me, actually. I think they think they beat Poland. But that Austria-Netherlands game is going to be really, really curious, I think. I think they play them last. Isn't the Netherlands' next fixture France? Netherlands football. The next one's, France on Friday. And then they play Austria on the Tuesday. I think France will do the Netherlands on Friday. But that one, depending on what's on the line at that point, when the Netherlands face Austria on Tuesday, is going to be interesting. But I've been pretty impressed by Ralf Rangnick's side there. I don't know what you guys think. As far as some halftime stats, I can give you some halftime stats. France just shade possession, 53% to 47%. 5 shots, 1 on target. Austria, 2 shots, 1 on target. And to be fair, I think that kind of represents the game that we've seen, which is fairly even. France, the scoreline probably represents, how fair it is. Just kind of shaded it. A couple more chances. Really unlucky with the own goal, Austria. But they did have that big chance where the goalkeeper makes a save, even though the referee doesn't give it for a corner, which is just frankly bizarre. But it's been an enjoyable game. I've enjoyed that game thus far. And to be fair, I can't think of a game throughout this tournament where I've been sitting there thinking this is just awful. Maybe that... At points, that Spain game against Croatia, but maybe that's just because that's my kind of thought on that kind of football. Can be a bit tiresome, even though there were a lot of goals in it. But I'm just trying to think, was there a game where I was like, that was really, really dull, or that was really, really bad? I don't really think of that. The games today, obviously the Romania game, 3-0, that was a really good watch, and the atmosphere was fantastic. Oh, yeah, the England game. There you go. The England game. That's probably the game. But the only reason I'm not on board is because I'm invested, in it. If I wasn't from England and I was just watching the tournament as a neutral, then yes, I would be like, that game was shit. Because it was shit. It's just because it's England, you're feeling a bit anxious watching it. But... yeah, that game. Don't get me started. I've seen today. One thing I am glad is I have seen the media today finally start going, you can't play Trent in midfield, and Foden didn't play very well. And it's like, well, where were you? Where were you for the last week Where were you with the last week when everyone's been saying that? I think anyone with a brain has been saying that the last week about the Trent Alexander-Arnold thing in midfield, going, it's dumb. Why are we trying to be too clever for our own good? Why are we trying to be too smart? Why are we trying to shoehorn him into the team? If you're a midfielder and you've been selected by England to go to an international tournament and you see a right back playing ahead of you in midfield, you'd be furious. Even if you're mates with him and you like him, you'd be like, that makes no sense. And then the narrative before the game was just stupid. The narrative before the game of, well, against lesser teams, we can do that and get away with it. Well, we can't. We can't. It's international football. It's top-level football. And it's a disservice to Serbia. And it's actually disrespectful to Serbia. Oh, you guys are so rubbish. We can play a right back in midfield and we'll be fine. It's arrogant, really. And it didn't work out. And then it's one thing for it not to work out, and then you make a change at, say, half-time, going, you know what, not really working. Did try it, but, we make a change here. Now, let's wait until, 70 minutes to make a change for that. Let's wait till then. And as far as, Phil Foden, off the left-hand side, knew he's going to be less effective, so you make a change. It's not. Sometimes the media get confused by this. So you criticise Phil Foden last night, so you're saying he's rubbish then? Well, no, of course not. It's a fantastic season for Man City. And he's played well in big occasions. But at the same time, he wasn't playing great last night, so you take him off. You got the whole squad full of players. Ultimately, again, the most important thing is that you win. As we've seen in these games, you have to just get off to a good start and go from there. But I think to those that would probably say, because I see this too, why just being overly negative? Why can't you be happy that England won? It's because it's the same discussion points. It's the same criticisms at this point for, what? I can think of myself. After that World Cup in 2018, I was given the bombastic side eye because people were raving about a World Cup semi-final. But I looked at it more like, well, who did we beat to get to the semi-final? Not anyone that in particular. And then the first time we faced a half-decent team in Croatia, we lost. In the group stage against Belgium, we lost. Because that's what happens with Gareth Southgate in England. If you play a good team or a good coach, that's it. Done. So the important thing was to win, but there's this massive red flag still, I think. And that's why my prediction has been quarters. Because I just don't see him overcoming that. I don't see the adaptation. And that's why before the tournament too, and we spoke about this on one of the morning shows when Flex was on TalkSport, and I was like, spare me the praise for Gareth Southgate. They were like, well, he's picked a very ambitious team and he deserves praise for that. You spare me, okay? Look at those players that you've got. And now I would not be shocked if Conor Gallagher starts that next game because he wants to be a bit more defensively robust again. If he wants to essentially be like, well, let's kind of have some more two defensively minded midfielders again. I would hope it would be Cobby starting the next game because I think you can still play progressive midfielders or two. You've got Declan Rice next to him who can do a lot of the defence work, but Cobby's a natural midfielder. His understanding of the position is better than Trent because Trent's a right back. But if he starts him again, and then I'm not shocked by this, but he came out after the game and was praising Trent. Very disciplined, did very well. Come on. Again, it's a bit like the Ten Hag thing towards the end of the season where he's not going to say anything negative, of course. But yeah, that's Gareth Southgate, isn't it? What are people saying here in the chat? G421 says Austria open heart surgery. Gegenpress Austria, look, very impressive. Phil says proud of my team. Austria is his team. Austria, that's why I had my eye on them coming into the tournament, not just because of the Ralf Rangnick factor, but also because of their record coming into the tournament too. Very impressive. And you've seen it this evening. I think this group is fascinating with France, Netherlands, and Austria, and even to an extent Poland, who did well against the Netherlands the other day. So I'm very curious to see how this group does play out. Lucas says the general public is calling out Southgate and the media is protecting him. Well, again, that is also the double standard and hypocrisy of the media because they have proven, as much as they say that they don't have agendas or they don't protect people or what have you, you see the treatment of certain people in comparison to others, and it's very obvious to see, isn't it? Again, the protection of Gareth Southgate is ludicrous at points, but because he makes people like to go on international duty. That's there's like, okay, so he's great. And they talk about his record. You go, and I get it. Like England international football historically, our record's not great in terms of getting to finals or semi-finals. So that absolutely is a feather in his cap. I just think it avoids a lot of context, and I think the criticisms of Gareth Southgate, which have been the criticism since day one, they've kind of just refused to call out, or they don't before the game, and suddenly after the game, then they start to admit it. Make no mistake here, if England go out in the quarterfinals of this tournament, then they'll start going, well, I had reservations going into the tournament about some of these tactics, whatever. You go, no, but you didn't say that. You didn't say that at the time. You wanted to keep the vibe good, keep the atmosphere good. So you decided not to criticise him when he deserves some criticism. It's just factually is what it is. But hey, we won the game. We move on to the next one. And hopefully England can play a bit better. One thing's for certain, you would think, in the last tournament, we did get a bit better as we went on. Probably our best performance was the quarter-final. We played, was it Ukraine? I think it was. That was really our best performance of the tournament, I think. And semi-final against Denmark was nervy, wasn't it? But we shall see. We shall see. What are people saying here in the chat? More about whatever. David says, anyone know what the tech they're using for the Belgium disallowed second goal for handball? It's using cricket when the ball hits the paddle bat. Noise meter on corner during VR. Check out the Snicko meter. Show says, media in France is unhappy with free finals. Here, the English media are happy because Southgate creates a happy atmosphere to play football. It's embarrassing. Well, that was kind of my point. That with the French situation is that you do have to, and I think the unhappiness with the French situation, I think, is the perfect example of context and understanding what you've got and realizing that might not be around forever, and understanding that you can be happy with getting to the finals, like you can, but eventually, again, once you're consistently getting to finals and your record is you're losing them more often than you're winning them, that's a problem. That is an issue. And they look at their team, their squad, and they're like, the best, probably the best, if not the best, well, one of, if not the best international team in the world. And how come we've got just the one World Cup? And obviously to us, English fans, we're like, just the one World Cup, be grateful for what you've got. But if we had what we perceive to be the best team in the world, and we were just constantly getting to finals, eventually you'd be like, hey, what's going on here? Why are we not winning anything? Why are we only winning once, as opposed to, you can't win every final. But yeah, I think that it says a lot. It says a lot. And then as far as, the expectation is going to be Gareth Southgate's final tournament as the England manager. The one thing I would say is I wonder who the replacement would be. You can let me know in the chat who you think that would be. Some people say Eddie Howe, which I don't really see. I don't really see it being Eddie Howe because I don't think I just don't think he'd leave Newcastle at this point. I don't think Newcastle would want to get rid of him now, and I just don't see that happening. So I don't know who it would be. Yeah, I'm not sure. Z says, Rangnick is getting these group of players to play good football, but couldn't do it at United. Definitely have shit players with zero football IQ. Lucas Chan says, you're going to watch any of the Copa America games, Zone? I'll try. Some of them are obviously going to be a bit late, and then we have to be up early for the transfer view and what have you. But I'm sure if I'm awake, I will. Probably not any match views here, but you never know, depending on what the schedule's like on the day. Jason says, can we talk about the game? Wow. I've been talking about the game for the whole half, and once the halftime whistle was blown, and you just end up talking about other things. But yes, it is Austria 0, France 1. I think it's been quite an even game. Austria have been quite impressive. France have been France, but yeah, that's that. I've kind of done the analysis to death on that one, really. If you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Road to 170k. A reminder, all the United content is still here, not going anywhere. This morning we had the transfer view. Loads of people getting involved in that. Flex and myself will be live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Once again for that. There's also an interview with the Athletics' Laurie Whitwell. Flex spoke to him earlier today. That went up to lots of people really enjoyed that. Laurie's doing fantastic work, isn't he, for the Athletic? What is quite curious actually with that is it was a really, I think, eye-opening experience to see some people who clearly don't know who Laurie Whitwell is criticise him. What does he know? Well, he's one of the more sort of respected writers about Manchester United, and and certainly when it comes to The Athletic, they don't really tend to do the sort of sensationalism journalism that you would maybe see in newspapers and what have you. They're pretty, they're very solid with their work. Laurie Whitwell, David Ornstein, etc. And it was really interesting to hear him kind of explain the articles that he's been writing recently. He's been writing really in-depth stuff about the whole process of keeping Ten Hag, the new contract, the transfer budget, and what have you. So I'd really recommend to go and watch that. It's shared some really interesting information. And again, it's a very, very, very good journalist, very good at what he does. So it was an absolute pleasure to have him on the channel, absolutely. And certainly there's going to be more stuff like that coming as we're in the transfer season. Tomorrow, Premier League fixtures are going to be released too, so Flex and myself will be discussing that in the morning, what that looks like, who we're going to be starting and ending the season facing off against. If there was a team that you didn't want to face in the starting game of the season, who would it be? I mean, it's not going to be like Man City or anything like that. But, yeah, I mean, if you had to put prediction in the chat. And then tomorrow morning, if it's right, you can say, I was right. Players are back out on the pitch. There is Ralph. As we wait for the kickoff, looks like it's Mbappe standing over the ball in the centre circle. As we await for the referee's whistle. We're still waiting. Someone's taking their time. Mbappe, the captain of France. Of course, the French lead from a own goal. Any minute now. And there we go. We're off. We're not off. False start. Now we're off. After all that, they were waiting ages. And then they went, no. Start again. Ugh. Look at the press already from Comrade Leiber. Putting the pressure on Mignon. Little flick. It's going to go out for a front. Oh, look at that. My goodness me. He has just shoved him straight into the advertising hoarding. My word. Antoine Griezmann has just flown in. He gets a bit of a nudge. I mean, the camera angle doesn't even show it. But he just flew. Look at this. Bang. Head first as well. That is a nasty fall. He's on a yellow card. Look at that. Whoosh. He flew. I mean, he went off the ground. And his head's cut open. It's like I'm watching WWE. He's been busted wide open. He's got a crimson mask. The claret is flowing. I thought my initial reaction was that he flew. And again, he's bleeding. And to be fair, Kylian Mbappe, I think he's right to say, like, what the F? Look at this. He just flies it, bang, head first, into the advertising hoarding. And this is what I will say about the commentators. They just completely no-sold that like it wasn't happening. Look, he grazed his head. Oh, my. Kylian Mbappe is, I think rightfully so, going, you know what you were doing there? I mean, I don't think he obviously intended to throw him into the advertising hoarding and cut his head open. But I think he's really lucky not to get a yellow card. I think if that happens in 5 minutes' time, if that happens, say, like the 50th minute or later on, I think he'd get a second booking. Or if he didn't have a yellow card, they'd be like, all right, booking, that's too much. But France now down to 10 men as well. Griezmann gets cleaned up. There's Lima. Posh. I'm surprised more wasn't made of it. I mean, commentary really undersold it. Oh, that's a nasty one. Oh, his head's cut open. Ball in. Oh, nearly a bit of a turn. Gartner, edge of the box, shoots. Posh over the bar. And Griezmann's going to come back on. His head's all bandaged up. Referee going up to him, giving him the thumbs up. You alright? Well, yeah, after someone pushed me into the advertising hall and cut my head. Oh, it hit the flag. Posh took the shot. It went through the flag. That's a good kick by the goalkeeper. Goes all the way to Koundé. He's got space to run into. There is Griezmann. Oh, I wasn't on the same wavelength. I've won the ball back. N'Golo Kanté. Ousmane Dembele. Kanté once more. Into the box. Keeps going. Or plays it just behind Thuram. Mbappe. Theo Hernandez. Ball across goal. Oof. I tell you what. Has his headband come off already? The headband's come off. Headband's come off. And his plaster's come off too. He shed his skin. The drama of Griezmann. I tell you, he's very impressive as well. Theo Hernandez, he's rapid and he's got a good delivery into the box. And I think Griezmann's pointing over to the medical team going, well, that was a crock of shit, wasn't it? Because my thing's off in 2 seconds. All the way back to the Austrian goalkeeper, Pence. That's probably gone out of play, I think. Sloppy. Verba. G41 says, game's too soft though and get on with it. I think it was trolling, but the fact that some people legitimately on the Friday were trying to genuinely debate that the Scotland player didn't deserve to get sent off against Germany still kind of blows my mind. And the reaction was game's gone soft because they were drop kicking someone's ankle with a 2-footed tackle. And they were like, oh, I don't know about that. Five minutes into the second half, still 1-0. Ball over the top. Thuram's going to try and run onto it. And that's going to go out for a goal kick. Thuram looks confused by that. Well, it wouldn't be the first decision in this game that would be wrong if it is. Let's have a look. Well, it's very clearly another corner. And they've got it wrong again. Who are these officials, by the way? That's like 2 or 3 times now. Just really shit decisions. Really obvious ones. What is wrong with them? There was the one in the first half with the goalkeeper save, and they went, goal kick. That one there, it's just come off a Austrian shoulder, and they're like, goal kick. This guy shouldn't be reffing at the Euros. And the worst thing is, with commentators of the way they're doing, they're not even talking about it. When you brush it off, like, well, it is what it is. No, that's not it is what it is. This is the Euros. It's meant to be top-level international football. They don't know what a corner is. Keeper passes it out to Koundé. If I'm the UEFA, ref judger or whatever, I'm like, F. Baumgartner. There's Lima. Posh. But there'll be chances in this. There'll be chances in this game for Austria. I think Magic will have to make another save. Good reverse pass, that. Sabitzer puts the ball in, headed away by Upamecano. Nearly went to Lima. He's gone down. Referee's not having any of it, of course. France on the counter-attack. Kylian Mbappe. Thuram's going to chase it. God, this goalkeeper, he's hesitated twice. It's twice now. Rushing out and then going back onto his line. Starting positions all over the place. Needs to have it last too easy. Kylian Mbappe just in space. No one around him. Puts it out wide to Koundé. Good touch. Gives it to Ousmane Dembele. Oh, it's way too much on that pass. And that's a goal kick. Let's have a look. See if the referee got this decision wrong. They might go to a replay perhaps. Let's have a look. Nah, there's nothing in there. Gets that one right. A rarity. He gets one right. I mean, what are the chances he's going to be refereeing England games? I mean, what's the chances? Ugh. Manish says, a little funny they got offside and handball to pinpoint accuracy in this tournament, but they can't get simple stuff right. Well, that is funny. Where's the snicker meter for that? Going, let's check who it came off. Oh, yeah, it came off. The goalkeeper saved the ball. No, let's check that one. I go, no, goal kick. That's a good pass out to Baumgartner. He's going to travel with the ball. The only thing you would say with Austria, it does look like this kind of... Oh, Mbappe might be in behind. Pace, this goalkeeper. I said this goalkeeper. It's Mbappe. Oh, he's missed. He's missed. Oh, my. He's put it wide. Incredible. Incroyable. I thought it was going to nestle in. That's the third time, by the way. This goalkeeper, he's hesitating. Look at him. Hesitating for a third time. What is he doing? And it's just a shocking miss. Let's see how wide of the post this is. Edge of the box. And just puts it wide. That's a shocking miss from Kylian Mbappe. But what I would say, that's got to be a foul, referee. Here's a foul. And a booking. What I would say, with that goalkeeper, that's like, what, the third or fourth time, ball over the top, and the goalkeeper starts doing this. Do I come, do I not come? Then, he then starts backtracking, which is just the easiest decision. It's the worst thing you can do as a keeper. If you're going to go, you go. If you're not going to go, you gradually keep coming out. What you don't do is go back, go forward, and then just stand there and make the decision really easy and make the angle really easy, and they can just put it past you. And he gets very lucky because Mbappe's an absolute shocking miss. It's a free kick to Austria. Sabitzer fizzes it in. Ooh, goes out for a corner. He's looked lively in this game, Sabitzer. If anyone's going to make something happen, it'll probably be him, Baumgartner, Lima. They got a decent front three and behind the striker. I'm not too sure on the striker for Austria. But they will be dangerous. Corner ball by Sabitzer. Ball in. Ooh. Is that going to be another corner? I think it is. I tell you what, there is a red wall behind that French goal. So if they do score, they're going to go crazy. Marcel Sabitzer again. Stands over it. Whips it in. God, it's a really bad delivery by Sabitzer. What a waste. Goes straight out for a goal kick. Not good enough. Curse of the commentator. Just said how well he was doing. He's doing well. Goal kick. Oh well. Damn. It's a bit of wrestling in the box from Saliba. In the Premier League, that'd be a penalty, VAR. Of course, if it was a Man United player doing it. If it was happened to a Man United player, absolutely no way. But Austria have the ball back. there is something in this game for Austria. I mean, they've got very fortunate with that Mbappe miss. But if you were Austria, maybe if you're Ralph, you'd say to him, look, guys, the best player in the world, arguably, has just missed a one-on-one. Put it past the post, not even on target. Like, come on, this might be our day here. I know we scored an own goal. Good play. Oh, unlucky. Red Devils 99 says, more like Bebe. Yeah, Bebe. Tries that ball in, goes over the head of Baumgartner, all the way to Magic Mike. But we're heading towards 60 minutes. Still 1-0. And Ralph's going to make a triple change here. Arnautovic is going to be coming on. It's a flick on by Thuram, but it's gone out for a throw-in. I think the substitution will probably happen now, or they're going to take it. A trio of substitutions. So 3 is Trauner. Is going to be coming on for Verber, he looked dodgy. I don't think he's on a booking. Who's Arnautovic? Arnautovic on for Gregoric, who's the striker, which I think is the right decision. As I mentioned, that was the one player looking at that front four that I was just a bit like, oh, I don't know about that. Limas, a bit, Baumgartner do look really dangerous, but they just need something a bit in front of them. I think Arnautovic might be the answer for that one. Grilic is off, and Wimmer is on. So Ralph's seen enough. He's making changes. No changes yet for France. And 30 minutes remain. And there will still be drama in this one. Long ball. Keeper does sweep that one up. That's much better. Of course, Arnautovic could have been a Man United player at one point. What a window that was for Manchester United. Lima. Here is one of the subs. He's still going. Ball's bouncing around all over the place. Sabitzer. Ball's going to be put in. Ball in. Headed away. It was crossed by Baumgartner. Teo Hernandez. Upamecano clears. It's a great atmosphere too, as one would expect. Posh. Again, it's I said, if a goal goes in for Austria, they're kicking towards their own fans. It will be absolute scenes. And they're playing some good stuff. I mean, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because you would say, well, with the Mbappe chance, France obviously should be 2-0 up. But I think they've played some good stuff in the second half again, Austria. But here comes Dembele. This could be 2-0. Reverse pass. Ooh. And once again, just a bit too heavy. It's a couple of times now by Dembele. A couple of heavy passes. And they've played it quickly, Austria. Wimmer. Put it out to that left-hand side towards Baumgartner, who does look dangerous. Sabitzer makes it. Oh, it goes down. It might be a penalty. Referee saying no. Of course, look, it might be a penalty. Who knows? Who knows? Because it's this referee. But I thought he did well there, Sabitzer, because he gets between two defenders. I thought that might have been a pen. I don't know. I tell you what, it's clumsy. Let's have a look. I mean, he's looking for it. He's looking for it. I don't think it'd get given. But it's clumsy for me. Yeah, I think he's looking for it. I think that's the right call. But they ran the risk, the two French defenders. But I think right decision. No penalty. But they're knocking at the door, Austria. So the next step, they need to get some shots off, start testing the goalkeeper. See how magic Mike really is. And once again, Austria have the ball. I tell you now, Fleck. They're on the... That's a good ball. Arnautovic is into the box. Got to go back to Lima. Posh. And Venes, he's going to get a ball in. Headed away by Saliba. They just got to be wary of the French counter-attack, because there's the possibility, of course, that Mbappe could just completely just rip them apart. But possession's now 50-50. This has been I mentioned it before half-time. Very much in this half. It's been a fairly even game. Better chances, of course, go to France. The biggest one that Mbappe miss. But had it not been for an own goal, you'd say, look, it's a very even game. Lima, poor pass. Sloppy. Switch over to Dembele. Got to be careful here. Shoots. Miles over. And that's kind of the thing with Dembele. It's the end product. Great pace. Great feet. Great control. But end product. Here's Danso. Lima. And Austria progressing with the ball again. Good ball. Baumgartner, he's into the box. Oof. That's a good tackle by Kunde. Another corner. Austria, they're knocking on the door. I really do think, if the Netherlands are watching this, they'll think, we can't play how we played at points against Poland, because Austria will give us a game. Arnautovic getting involved with Saliba in the box. Now the ball's got to be much better than it was before. That's another poor corner. 2 or 3 times. The delivery from the set piece has not been good enough. And here comes Dembele on the counter-attack, and they might be in here. N'Golo Kanté, here comes France. And if they score here, Austria, they've only got themselves to blame. Kanté. That's good feet, actually. Ball in. Flicked away by Danso. And just hoofed away in the end. But that's a couple of times where they've put good pressure on Austria, and then they get the free kick or they get the corner, and the delivery's just really poor. And they're so quick on the counter-attack, you can't give them that kind of opportunity. Here's Mbappe outside of the boot. Brilliant pass to Theo Hernandez. He's into the box. Theo Hernandez! Oh! Griezmann just misses it. Kunde! Blocked. But, it's fantastic play by Kylian Mbappe outside of the boot pass to Theo Hernandez. I mentioned earlier on Hernandez's crosses, his pace and his delivery into the box. That cutback, he is so good at that. 2 or 3 times in this game, his cutbacks have been there just waiting for a tap-in. And this time it was Griezmann who just missed it. But it was a brilliant pass by Mbappe to kick it off too. And that's the danger. If you've got the ball, if you're Austria, and if you've got possession and you're knocking on the door, you can't then be sloppy enough to give it away, because they'll go up the other end and they'll just score. If you give them space, if you give them time, once the game gets stretched like this, Mbappe just becomes another level of dangerous. Look at that switch all the way over to Ousmane Dembele. Good touch too. Now, Dembele end product not been quite great. Here's Conte though. Is he going to take a shot? Oh, it's a good pass. He might be offside. Thuram. Oh, it's a good save by the goalkeeper. I thought Thuram might have been close to being offside. But this game has got a real good flow to it. Ball in. Cleared by Danso. Out to Rabiot. And here's Kunde. But that left-hand side, when Mbappe pulls out to it. It goes to Theo Hernandez. I mean, he's really impressed me in this match, Hernandez. He's dangerous. He's what you probably look for from a modern fullback. Up and down. Great delivery into the box. Fast. And Magic Mike just dinks the ball out to him. And it's a good touch by Hernandez. Now France is trying to probably take the sting out of the game, have a bit of possession. Rabiot. They've lost the ball there. Thuram. There's Lima. Tries to flick it over the top of Saliba. But there's N'Golo Conte. Sweeps up. I'll tell you what, Lima nearly got it back. Ash says, Owen, are we in for Hernandez? I don't think so, unfortunately. And I think it might cost a pretty penny to get him. Is he still at AC Milan? Oh, it's a good touch. Baumgartner, he's gone past Koundé. Now, can he deliver? Koundé recovers well. And that's going to go up for a throw-in. Yeah, still plays for AC Milan. 26, right in his prime. Posh. You get the impression that there's going to be just one chance for Austria, or it's going to be a save or something, or a miss. Arnautovic holds up the ball, gets a bit of luck. Oh, it's just a bit of a short pass towards Baumgartner, and here come France again. Again, it's this counter-attack. The counter-attack's going to be dangerous. Maybe they're saying France might make some changes now. From Didier Deschamps. Ash says, would you take Rabiot? Well, it looks like we're continuing to be linked to him, isn't it? I mean, I did feel a couple of summers ago it wasn't very inspiring. I don't think that's the profile we need at the moment. I just feel we need I say an upgrade on Casemiro, but we need to find that defensive midfielder, basically, that can sit alongside Kobe, and I don't think Rabiot's that. I don't know who that is, it must be said, but if it was Paulinho from Fulham, but he was like 5 years younger, that's what we kind of need. Ousmane Dembele coming off, like Camavinga's coming on. Do you think we were in for Camavinga too before he went to Real Madrid? What a player he is. It's going to be Dembele off, Kolo Muani on, Rabiot off, and Camavinga on. Certainly, you could look at Dembele and say, again, end product today hasn't been all that. Camavinga, maybe something a bit more energy, a bit more defensive resilience. And also the thing you'd have to consider with Rabiot, which is kind of what it was before, his wages would be very high, most likely. Because we'd be negotiating with him in the same position that we were a couple of years ago, which was we're not in the Champions League and we're in transition. That's a throw to Austria. Just less than 20 minutes to go, plus stoppage time. Still 1-0 to France. Is there going to be drama? It's been a day of scalps. Romania defeating Ukraine. Slovakia defeating Belgium. Can Austria get anything off the former world champions? Theo Hernandez skips past him again. Look how impressive. Look how quick he is. Just going down the left-hand side. Thuram. Oh, it's a good touch by Theo Hernandez. He's gone down. Thuram. Couple of step overs. That's terrible. That's rubbish. Theo Hernandez made a heck of a noise when he went down. But once again, he was brilliant. Yeah, he just get a bit of a kick on the foot, Hernandez. But that was, again, great full-back play. Gets down the left-hand side. Little flick in to Thuram. And Thuram no end product. Austria going up their left-hand side. Danso. God, fits that in. He did really well. Wimmer. Has the ball again. Oh, and he's just outside of the boot. Put that right out for a throw-in. And do you know what is actually quite surprising? Just looking at this, what is quite surprising is how France are really getting behind the ball here. They're really just soaking it up and counter-attack. And I think that's probably a huge credit to Austria. That's a push in the back, surely. It's a free kick. Like, they are fully sitting back playing on the counter-attack at the moment. Which, again, goes to show how well Austria are doing. Possessions, 49-51. It's even. The one thing you're just looking at with Austria, just going, you haven't tested the goalkeeper enough. You had the chance in the first half. That was about it. Goes down. Makes a heck of a noise. Wimmer. It's a free kick. Now, from this free kick, once again, you'd say, good delivery you need. Good delivery. Get the ball in the box. Griezmann's down. Holding his knee. Been in the wars a little bit. Had his head cut open. It looks like he's got blood coming from his knee. Ooh. Nasty. Leg bends the wrong way. It looks like he's okay. I was a bit worrying for a second there. But it's going to be Wimmer standing over this free kick. And once again, you're going just, can you actually put a half-decent ball in the box? You haven't really done that all game. Now's the time to do it. Wimmer. Ball in. Magnon, well, nowhere near it. First kind of sign of weakness that we've seen from the French goalkeeper. Came out and just wasn't near that one at all. It was a half-decent delivery. Good pass for the middle. Oh, it just wasn't the touch. Win it back. Wimmer. And once again, Austria have the ball. Posh. Good reverse pass. Posh. He took his time getting towards it. I think he was anticipating the tackle from Theo Hernandez. But it's a throw-in and the pressure's on. The question would be, they're getting closer and closer. Again, not really testing the keeper just yet, but can France... Oh. What's Sam Matterface talking about? Another decent delivery. It's gone out for a goal kick. What? Another decent delivery, that one. It's gone straight out for a goal kick. Honestly. Get Clive Tilsley back in. There's Griezmann. Out to Koundé. Colomboigny. Going down the outside. Danso's done well. And he wins a free kick. I'll tell you what, he's been impressive in this game. Danso, the centre-back for Austria. Plays for Lens. 25 years old. Maybe that's who Flex is looking for. Flex is looking for someone from the French league. That's young. Maybe it's Kevin Danso. And an interesting one. His youth career was at Reading and MK Dons. So it wouldn't be that difficult to acclimatise, perhaps. There'll be, I'm telling you, there always is in international tournaments. There will be players that no one was really thinking about before the tournament. They have a good tournament, they'll get a move. Always the way. Oh, they've won it back. Arnautovic. Lima. Oh, it's a heavy one. Oh, the keeper's they're gonna blow up. It was 50-50. There's nothing wrong with it. Mignon's down. There's nothing wrong with it. Baumgartner is more than right to go for it. They do clash, but Lima, it's just a heavy touch. Goalkeeper does the right thing. Baumgartner does the right thing. There's nothing wrong with it. You can't claim it or whatever. But the pass was just too heavy. Baumgartner gets the ball first, so nothing wrong with it. I mean, I think is going to book him. Oh, no, you referee. Don't be such a Jobsworth. You can't book him for that. He got the ball first. What's he supposed to do? You're basically saying, ref, you can't go for that ball. That's so stupid. Oh. That is silly. We just had the referee or rules and analyst person on there and going, well, you fall into the territory of dangerous or reckless play. Well, it's not. You can't do that. So basically then, when you do that pass or whatever, even though I can get to the ball first, I'm not allowed to do that. Otherwise, I'll get a booking. What are those rules? That is so dumb. And this is coming from a goalkeeper. I know as a goalkeeper, I'm allowed to use my hands. I go down. We're both going to go into each other and hurt each other. If you're going to book him, then book me. What's reckless? Him sliding with his feet, or me sliding in with my head and my hands? It's not a booking. So silly. And again, this coming from a goalkeeper. I mean, how protected sometimes we are is ridiculous. Ten minutes left. Still 1-0 France. Not going to go out for a throw-in. No, it kept on. Now it does. It's a France throw-in. See if Austria can get anything out of this game. Kolo Muane. One back by Conte. Mbappe plays it into the referee. I take this referee. He is ridiculous. He really, honestly, he's doing my head in. Getting in the way, giving bookings, getting decisions wrong. The dreaded uncontested drop ball as well. Is Theo Hernandez. Mbappe. Griezmann. Cuts it back. Kolo Muane. And here comes Wimmer. Counter-attack maybe on for Austria. I don't think that's a foul. It's just good defending by William Saliba. Good defending. There's Camavinga. Here is Mbappe. Off the left-hand side. Plays it inside to Camavinga. Camavinga cuts it back. Oof. I tell you what is really impressive is Mbappe's link-up play. That's 2 or 3 times. He's drifted off the left and played a pass in behind or played a 1-2. Is that going to be a foul? Referee gives it. Griezmann with the foul this time. Now, I doubt Austria will take it quickly. Again, with these situations, you're going to get a good ball into the box. That's a clear foul by Griezmann too. No debate over that one. Even this ref can get it right. What's the referee saying here? Hurry up. Well, they've got enough people standing over it. Sabitzer. How many times has Sabitzer taken a set piece today and it's been a poor... And they're going to counter again. I don't know how many times this has happened in this game. When they've had a set piece, a free kick or a corner, delivery's been rubbish and France go up the other end. The ref give a foul for that. Never, referee. And he's going to book him. Oh, my word. This referee is a joke. Look at this. That's not a foul. He's gone through the leg and he's just blocked him a little bit. But it's not a foul. Definitely. What, because his hand's gone into his hand? Oh, my goodness me. This referee. But Mbappe went down, so he went, well, yellow card. I mean, he might have booked him for dissent, but I think Lima was right to be annoyed. It's just ridiculous. And once again, it comes from when they've got a set piece, Austria, the delivery's rubbish. And it comes, and France get it back straight away. Griezmann, ball in. Mbappe went to head it. He's gone down. Counter-attack. Oh, Wimmer's through. He's through. He's through on goal. Conte. Oh. N'Golo Conte, even at this stage of his career, still puts out fires. 33 years old, still puts out fires. Well, Mbappe's down. I tell you what, the goalkeeper's calling for it. Let's see. It was... Oof. Mbappe, yeah, takes a massive hit to the head. Danzo, look at this. It's not anything. It's not the fault of the defender. Mbappe just heads his shoulder. Boom. So he can break a nose. Look at Conte. Still got it. Flex will want him. Remember that like 2 years ago? He was like, get Conte from Chelsea. Even with the injuries. He's like, bring him in. He's like, no, Fleck. Got to stop it. I mean, the concern will be, again, if it's a broken nose, doesn't rule you out of the tournament or anything like that. You might have to put on a mask. Well, it depends how bad it is. Oh, there's a lot of blood. Ooh. Ooh, that is nasty. That is a broken nose. That is blood gushing there. Absolutely. Yeah. That is nasty. You can see why the goalkeeper was very insistent that he got onto the pitch. Maybe a lot of time added on. He'll have to come off. There's no way he stays on the pitch. They're asking for another jersey. I mean, it's the 87th minute, man. You take him off. His nose is smashed. I mean, I'd get it if it was 45 minutes or something like that, but it's at the end of the game. You'd say, get him off, get him some treatment. You're 1-0 up. Maybe Giroud's going to come on for him. If they try and leave him on, that would be madness. I mean, his shirt is stained with red. Oh, a broken nose. His nose is like that. Yeah, broken nose. The guy's saying sub. I mean, how did they just realise that? His nose is like that. It's like there. God, I think, we might have to make a sub there. Well, obviously. So, Prass is on for Austria. And I suppose now the question will be about Mbappe. I mean, they'll have his nose reset. The hope would be that's all they need to do. They don't have to do any, because sometimes, depending how severe it is, depending on how... Is he still on the pitch? Oh, Griezmann's on the pitch. What's going on? But yeah, they probably end up having to wear a mask. Okay, it won't be a tournament ender, again, unless it's really bad. Oh. But, I mean, when do they next play France? They play on Friday. He's going to come back on the pitch. What? What are they doing? Now he's going, that is bullshit. I'd be furious. Yeah, I would book him. That's silly. That is so silly. That is ridiculous. What is going on here? I mean, madness. Absolute madness. He should get booked. And book Deschamps. They know what they're doing here. He's off the pitch. And his nose is broken. And he's come back on and he's gone down and stopped the play. It's just stupid. But the ball went out of play, and then I guess they didn't do so. I don't know what's going on. Once again, though, this referee has lost total control. Mbappe, yeah, look, he just goes, I'm going to go on the pitch. I'm going to go on the pitch, and I'm going to go down. And now he gets... But he's done it because he thinks, well, we're down to 10 players and I want to make sure that we get the substitutes on. But once again, this referee just doesn't have control over this match. Just shocking officiating. I mean, Giroud's on. Griezmann's off now. And I still look at France and go, well, that was a mess because Mbappe's on the floor with his nose on the other side of his face and they're going, get another jersey to see if he can stay on. Like, what? 9 minutes of stoppage time. Bibber. And that's a throw into Austria. And one thing's for sure, this ref, that should be his last game of the tournament. I mean, he's given yellow cards for fouls on goalkeepers, or the one before that with Mbappe, or with Conrad Leimer for no reason. That one there, where Mbappe comes on because he's like, well, you didn't make the subs. Get control of the game. Flick on. Magic might... Oh, what's that? I tell you what, they've gone down. They've got a head injury now too. The game's been stopped. Wimmer's down holding his face. Might be a nose for a nose or a cheek for a cheek. He says it's an elbow. Let's have a look. It's not an elbow. It's just coming together. Ironically enough, it's very similar to the Mbappe one. This time it's just sort of his cheek hits the shoulder. It wasn't an elbow. Right, commentator's going, it's getting a bit chaotic. It's getting a bit chaotic because the refs just completely lost control. Dollied out stupid yellow cards in this one and silly free kicks. It got farcical when Mbappe goes down with the broken nose, because heaven forbid he has to leave the pitch. Oh, it's a poor pass. Big header, that. And to be honest, what it has done from Austria, it's just kind of taken them out of their flow a little bit. They're building up good pressure and the game's just got a bit erratic. That's a good pass. Giroud, that's a foul. Dan said that'll be a foul. And that's a booking too. Another booking. How many bookings is that in this game? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I'll be able to see actually. I can do it on the stats. This ref's been throwing them out. We've had 6 yellow cards in this game. Probably could have been, if the referee had his way, he would have probably given more. Well, that might be 7 now. Just under 6 minutes remain. Giroud wins that header. Is there going to be an opportunity for Austria? Arnautovic played it off Camavinga. They wanted a handball. Referee says no. Teo Hernandez, who has been very impressive in this game. Here's Fofana. Nope. Colomwani gives it away. Might have won it back. Free kick. Of course. Let's get the impression maybe that France have just got enough here. Conte. Kunde. Ball into the box. Oh, goes towards Giroud. Camavinga. Giroud. Oh, good touch. Thuram's got it. Tries to cut inside to get the shot. Nope. Arnautovic. Turns. Here's Wimmer. He has been a bit wasteful since he's come on. Gets a deflection. Lucky. Sabitzer keeps it alive. Baumgartner. Not the best pass. Or they recover well. Zyvold. Nope. Blocked. It was N'Golo Kante again. That's what he does. But one thing's to be said about Austria. Like again, if I were the Netherlands, I'd be looking at them going, this group's a real tough group. It's a good ball in, or they're looking for a hand. 3 or 4 of them asking for a handball. I mean, the referee's not going to spot shit because he's just not missed anything. He's not given anything in this game. Let's have a look. Well, it does hit his hand. I don't think he knows anything about it. I mean, if it was in the box, the VAR would check it, but not a free kick. One last push, perhaps. We've still got 3 minutes remaining, and maybe a little bit more, because there have been a couple of stoppages in stoppage time. Just feel like it's just not, I don't know, like they're trying these sort of touches and it's just not coming off from Austria. But there's a huge amount of positives for Austria to take from this. Definitely. Huge positives. Upamecano. Colomwani in behind. Cuts it back. Oh, Giroud, he scuffed his lines. Scuffed his lines. I mean, realistically, I suppose it could be 3-0 to France. Kylian Mbappe misses an absolute sitter. And Olivier Giroud, he's the record goal scorer for his country. And he's just air kicked it. And now, could we have Austria go the other way? That's a good pass, that one. Here come Austria. Schmidt. Posh. Into the box. Oh, but they're just their final pass, Austria, just hasn't been there. Every time you feel like they're getting into a good position, Austria, their final pass or Their cross, it's just not there, or their delivery. That's a foul, forgives it. Wimmer, though, puts it out to the fullback. Posh. That's a ball into the box. It's going to go back. Headed it across goal. Oh. I think that's a corner ball. Now, finally, are we going to see a good Austria delivery? We haven't seen a good Austria delivery all night. And finally, actually, they spotted a good decision for a corner. We've seen some terrible deliveries today from Wimmer, from Sabitzer. Is this going to be the one where we actually got a good delivery? Ball in, Wimmer. Oh, he punched it away. I thought for a second there. Towards the back post. Headed away by Camavinga. And here come France on the counter-attack. It's Thuram. Sprinting towards the other end of the pitch. Thuram's going to go all the way by himself, I think. Got to cut it back. And now he's just going to get it into the corner. Take the sting out of the game. Smart play. We're into the final minute. That's good play, that. Conte just loses the ball. Wimmer. Is their time. 30 seconds left. They've got to do something. That's a good pass. Well, there might still be time. Seconds still ticking away. He's travelling with the ball, perhaps. Baumgartner. Sabitzer. Tries the overlapping pass, but it's just not good enough, and that's going to be a free kick. It was poor by Sabitzer. He does look a bit tired. I think you needed just to get it into the box. To be fair, it just bobbled. And there you go. That is full time. And France have won this game by a 0-0. And every single player seemingly is out on their feet. And that's a terrific game. Terrific game. Austria lose by a 0-0 against France. The former world champions kick off their Euro 2024 campaign with a victory. But I think if you are Austria, you can hold your heads up high. You can hold your heads up high and say, we put everything into that game. We were very unlucky. Maybe just didn't have that final pass, that opportunity to have that final shot, what have you. But they'll go far in this tournament. They're dangerous. I think the Netherlands will be watching on going. We've got a couple of big games on our hands. We've got obviously France on Friday. And then the final game, they'll have Austria. Next game for Austria, they'll have Poland. And you would think this Austrian side will be good enough to beat Poland. And not a lot of people want to face Austria in this tournament. No doubt about that one. France, our big questions now will still be about Kylian Mbappe. His fitness goes off of a broken nose. Is he going to be ready and available for their game on Friday? What's his status for the tournament going to be? You would think he'd probably wear a mask or something like that. But that was an enjoyable game. I did really enjoy that game. That was well worth a watch. And that's why I like doing these kind of match views for the Euro. So I appreciate everyone that's tuned in. A reminder, tomorrow morning we'll be live once again with the transfer view, Flex and myself. It's Tuesday. You know what that means. That will be Flex and KG show coming up later in the evening. And then I'll be back with another match view tomorrow night. I'm going to be doing... What match am I going to be doing again? Portugal play tomorrow evening. So I'm going to be doing Portugal tomorrow evening too. So still we're going to be getting a game or two games a day when it comes to all of this Euros content. So appreciate everyone tuning in. Click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. And I'll see you in the morning. I'm out of here. Peace.